45 minutes. All right. And we're live. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm here with Nick Penev today. Good friend of mine, business associate. And I mean, man, you're doing so many things, right? You have extreme power brands, scale, HelloTax, ecom hot sauce, newsletter. I mean, you're doing it all. You're hosting your own events. You're coming on to other people's podcasts and webinars and things like that. Really happy to have you here. How's your day so far?
Pasha, all good, man. It's still Tuesday, so it's the middle of the week. I have just 2 more days, Wednesday and Thursday, and that's it. My week has 4 days, like an unusual week, because Friday is not the day for work. If you haven't done your job in like or whatever you're supposed to do in 4 days, you're not gonna do it on Friday. So that's how we do it: 4 days of work and 3 days of no work or
That's how
whatever
they,
we want
is
to do.
that how everybody in Bulgaria does it?
No, man, some people don't bother even to work a single day. So but usually no, it depends. I mean, like everywhere else, they supposedly work 5 days, but people are getting lazier and lazier here, and I think it's everywhere like that. I mean, in Bulgaria, for example, for some like companies, it's hard to find people to work. No, one of my one of my classmates, who used to run a dairy farm, he had like 120 cows, and I made him an offer. Okay, man, I'm gonna buy 50 cows. You're gonna obviously take care of them. You're gonna pay me like a dividend, and that was one of our best investments. But the issue is that he couldn't find people to actually take care of the cows. So eventually, he sold the farm. So to be honest, I mean, this is actually a serious problem. I mean, it's hard to find people to do quality job, which in what we don't have this issue because we can hire remotely. I have like amazing team in Pakistan. All my employees are from everywhere, and I work with people from everywhere. But in some industries, they have serious issues. Like my mother is a doctor. She's 60, 64. She's gonna be 64, and all the doctors are actually old. And we don't know who is gonna do like some really like serious jobs. I'm not sure how it's in the States, but anyways, man, we're not gonna solve the world economy, so let's talk for some
Yeah,
other stuff.
it's nice to be able to have that type of geographical freedom, right? And especially you know that, right? You have the map right behind you, so you know how
Yeah,
amazing that is to have like this kind of global network of workforce and customers, and I guess that's why you do what you do, and you have you're involved in many different things because of the internet and what it allows you to do. I worked on a farm some years back, and I've heard the struggles of being able to find people, good people. I mean, it's always a problem everywhere whenever you have this type of kind of physical jobs.
yeah. I
So
mean,
we're
I think
lucky.
like farming, they have issues everywhere. Europe, regardless of. But it's usually like the middlemen. They do the stuff they do. They don't increase their like wholesale price. The middlemen, which are the big like merchants, are actually taking the big share. But anyways, man, it likes it we're lucky because we can work remotely. We can live anywhere we want. To be honest, I've been remote for 14 years already. So I've been
Mm.
remote since 2010. As I say on my LinkedIn profile, long before it was cool. And
Right.
I'll tell you a funny story now. That was like in 2010 or 11. We were just starting our e-com business, back then. And we're buying a lot of media. We used a lot of like ad agencies to run their ads. And they were telling me, okay, Nick, let's have a meeting in our office. We're gonna have our team there. And I said, okay, guys, I'm sourcing my products online from UK. I'm selling online. I'm advertising online. Give me one reason why should we meet? Why we cannot do that over Skype? It was not Zoom, it was Skype. We can
Mm.
do it online. Let's do an online meeting. Okay, but that's how we do business. I said, okay, man. I don't see a point of seeing each other when all my stuff is digital. And eventually, once COVID came, everybody they realized that they can actually do the stuff remote. Now, some companies claim that there is no culture and this kind of stuff, but it depends from the people. If you're reliable, if you're offline or online is not going to change anything. I've met some guys like few years ago, and they told me before COVID they used to travel, let's say from London to New York they had a scheduled meeting with the client who didn't show up. And I said, okay, man. So see, this is actually the advantage. I mean, right now you can sell whatever service you want to whoever you want online. No, you don't need to meet in person, of course, unless it's at least for our digital stuff. I mean, and that's actually is a big advantage. You can hire from anywhere, you can sell anywhere, you can have partners and clients anywhere, and I mean, I like it. I mean, I can, for example, right now, I live in Sofia during the school season. For me, school is actually a waste of time, but my wife doesn't agree. Another topic for another webinar. But in general, see, I can, and then I can spend the whole summer on the beach with my wife and my kids. Now, if I was stuck in an office, I cannot do that. And I'm not saying that I work at the beach. That's complete bullshit. I mean, it's too sunny,
Too
it's bright.
bright.
Exactly. So, I just change my schedule. I don't do meetings in the morning. We do like one beach in the morning. Then I come back. We have lunch with my wife and kids. Then I have like 3, 4 meetings. Then we go to the beach. Then I have like 2 more meetings. So, you can still work and just do your stuff. And if somebody say, okay, it's too hard, no, I don't know, man. So, but let's talk about some other stuff. So you have some hidden questions for me, right?
Yes, I do. So, I mean, I'd like to first hear a little bit about how you got to this point that you're at, because you're involved in so many things. You have a newsletter, you're doing the webinars, but also you have an email list, right? That goes out, and you have basically services that you put into there, and so that became like a way that you monetize like your audience essentially. But there was many things that happened even before that to give you the idea to get into these things. I remember in some of
Okay.
our earlier talks you were talking about being like the first one in Europe to sell acai, right?
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
having like 1 cent bids and all this kind of stuff. So you were in the early days of actually building a brand. And so you sell whatever you were doing during those days, and then kind of
Yeah,
move on to be like a
yeah.
service provider.
Let me tell you now. I'm gonna transition, to what I'm doing right now. So, like in 2010, I was working for. My first like official job. I was a sales executive for a US company, which had an outsourcing office in Bulgaria, and that was in like 25. So, I worked there for like 5 years, and the one thing that I did is I was working the red eye like shift from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. I did that for 5 years now. But the thing is, I never had issues with sleeping during the day. So, but the thing is, we're making ton of money. It was only a commission based job. So in like at 23 years when I started, I was doing like 5K US dollars in Bulgaria. That was like 20 years ago, which was ton of money back then. It was whatever you sell. I mean, you have 10% from whatever you sell. So it was crazy. I did a lot of money for like 5 years. And then, the company got acquired and everybody got kicked out. We don't need an office in Bulgaria. It's going to be like an in-house team just in the USA. So from doing like 5K per month, my wife was pregnant with our first kid back then, mortgage with new apartment. I was okay, man, from 5K to zero. And then,
Mm,
I need to actually find a job very, very quickly. And I started working for a company doing affiliate marketing and running offers for all kind of like brands in the states. And then uh, I saw that they're selling some health supplement products. Now they're actually promoting those in the states, like acai berry. And I said, okay, man, that's actually a great idea. But still, we're not making enough money, so I couldn't kind of just dig into that. So in the meantime, I got an offer to be like a biz dev, for a Hungarian international company, which were paying like probably like 2K euro, which was still okay for what we need in Bulgaria. And then, but in the meantime, I said, okay, I like this acai berry stuff. I would like to start selling online, but I have no like tech experience, even though I've been selling like IT stuff, for a long time. I'm not a tech guy. I cannot build websites. I cannot do this kind of stuff. So I actually pitched my best friend and best man from the wedding. Okay, man, can you build me a website? And he was reluctant. Okay, what, man, if we fail? I said, okay, man, I don't care. Build me the website. I'm gonna buy like 200 units from the UK, and we're gonna sell that. So what we did, we found like some like a Cyberry brand from the UK. And then we purchased that for like 15 pounds or whatever, and we sold that for like 50 euro, which is almost like what's that? 200% like
mhm.
like profit or whatever. And then And somebody said, okay, guys, no, some of the reviews, okay, guys, no, the product is good, but I Googled that and I found that in the UK, you're selling something which is £15 for €50. And then I said, okay, man, then we need to make our own product. I had no idea what is private label back then. But I found a manufacturer and I said, okay, what is the minimum order quantity? And they said, okay, we need to order like 1,000 units. I said, okay. Then we actually got one more guy to be a co-founder and one guy to be like a designer. He built our first product, which was called Acai Verde, and Verde means green in Latin. It was supposed to be like a bio product. So we had like these bio stuff products long time ago. Long story short is it was a big success because it was quality product. We're sourcing for like 2-3 euros per unit, and we're selling for 50 euros across the EU. And back then, nobody was advertising on Facebook and Google Ads for this kind of product. So, like you mentioned earlier, we're paying 1 cent per click on Facebook ads with no competition. 200 US dollars was that spent 200 sales per day. Can you imagine like you spend 200 euros, you have like 10,000 revenue.
It's
So
kind
we
of crazy.
scaled very quick. Exactly, it's
Yeah.
crazy. But we didn't know anything. We didn't need to know anything because there was no any competition. No, the only competitor which came was actually my ex-employer. So eventually, what happened is I turned into their biggest competitor in Europe. The company who I work with, I quit there after I started doing that, and they became our biggest competitor. And because we're scaling so quickly, we never did any trademark brand registry. The period from getting the idea in our head to launching the actual product was 2-3 weeks. So we have an idea for a new product. We see like a deer antler. There was actually a muscle building supplement which they extract some stuff from the deer antlers, no,
Hmm.
and supposedly get very buff, whatever. So we saw that in the USA. Our designer built the product label. We sent that to the manufacturer. He confirmed the label, and okay, we did the order in like 2-3 weeks. We're selling. But the thing is, we're even doing like test campaigns, selling the campaign even without having the product, just to validate if there is actually demand. So we run a test campaign, we get 100 orders, we go ahead and order, and we never source from China because we had a huge profit margin. No, the PPC was very low, and as a matter of fact, no, our initial investment was like 5K between me and the other co-founders, and we had like 5 million in like 4 or 5 years, and this is just from reinvesting. Eventually, we scaled that to like 25, and we exited everything in like 2020. But when we're exiting, the company was not doing very well because we're taking profit every month. So we
Hmm.
never invest. We never knew about this aggregators acquisition company. So just a private buyer acquired the company, but wanted to get rid of it anyways because we had our other gigs doing. One of the co-founders was setting up like a software company. The other was doing some side business, and I was just doing my early retirement. Just wasting money. I managed to lose like a 250,000 like trading call features. I thought that it's easy with frequent leverage. It was not that
Oh
easy.
no.
Yeah, but I learned my lesson, so I never use like leverage anymore. I invest in like crypto and stock, but only just like without any leverage. So you need to get burned to learn. So in other words, no, we had a very easy wins at the beginning because we were there early. We grew quickly. Eventually, no, the competition picked up, and it started to get actually harder and harder. And then in like 2016, uh, like the mobile ads kicked in. It got very expensive. There was a lot of competitors, and Amazon, Google, they started actually suspending our accounts. And I said, okay, man, we rely too much on those guys. We cannot just continue like that, even though we're spending millions on ads. They don't care. I mean, they're huge. I mean, they just suspend your account if they don't like anything. And I said, okay, we need to switch to affiliates and partnerships. So the last 4 years of the supplement business, like journey, we're spending zero money on paid marketing. It was only affiliates. And then this actually how I got into what I'm doing right now, because in 2020, when we're selling the company, we're using HelloTax as a client. They were doing our VAT compliance, and I get to know the founders, which are ex-ecom sellers. They sold on Amazon. I've never sold on Amazon, by the way. Uh, and they told me, okay, Nick, you know that you're doing a lot of affiliates and partnerships, and since you're selling the company, are you open to advise HelloTax about partnerships and how we can build this channel and how we can actually help can you help actually the company to grow like that? And I said, okay, man. I'm too young to retire, and my wife told me that I've lost enough money. I need to get a real project going on. And I said, okay, guys, no, even though it sounds very boring, okay, taxes, okay, what the heck? I mean, what is taxes? I mean, it sounds very boring, but I have this approach now. I never make assumptions. So I said, okay, guys, let's do that. I mean, and the one thing that I did initially is I checked out there is correspondence with partnerships, and everybody was complaining that the partnership is very one-sided. And I said, okay, guys, that's not how we do partnerships. The partnership is about giving first and then getting from some of those guys.
Hmm.
And I actually started to build a network, and I start connecting people. I meet somebody, I just connect them with somebody else that I knew already in the network. So I grew very quickly like that. The other, funny thing that happened is one of the co-founders was supposed to be speaker on the HelloTax webinars, because I told them, okay, man, we need to start doing webinars with partners, creating content. But he had a side business, and he said, Nick, I'm too busy with my other business, I cannot speak. And I said, are you crazy? We have a podcast in 1 hour. That was with Scott Needham from Smart Scout. I'm not sure if you know him.
I know.
Oh, okay. So, and then I said, okay, man. I said, okay, heck, what the heck, man? I'm a sales guy. I'm gonna speak. It's not that hard. And that's how I got into webinars. And since then, I've done probably over 300. I've hosted myself. I've actually spoken it like we do right now, and I've hit at least 10 guys that I've given the idea to do podcasts, no, to start their own podcast. And and to be honest, I mean, it's really fun stuff because I connect people connect with me, and by doing that, we actually grew the company the network and the partnership program very quickly. And then uh, a company, I think I connected with them, like Merchant Spring, James.
Hmm.
He told me, okay, Nick, can you do it for us? At the same time, another partner, John Tilly from Zonguri told me, okay, Nick, can you help out with partnerships? And I said, okay, guys, you just gave me an idea. I'm going to set up a partnership agency, and I'm going to call it partnership as a service. So I actually turned the kind of like the casual connections into a business. And that's actually our main thing that we do right now. We connect companies who have the same ICP, and of course we added some other stuff that we do on top of that, like we kind of advise those companies how to monetize partnership, because meeting somebody doesn't mean anything. People meet people all the time. They promise all kind of bullshit, they never do anything. So you need to have a structure on how you do partnership. So whenever you meet somebody, after the meeting, based on what you guys discuss, you send the follow-up. You put the follow-up in your whatever CRM or using or like project management tool, so you can keep it, actually can track the progress of the partnership. Then ideally, you need to start creating some stuff with your partners. Let's do a webinar, let's do a podcast, let's do like a webinar with several other people. Let's invite some guys. And the goal of all those things are a few things. First, you create content. Second, you're using your partners to share the content, so you use them as a distribution channel. Third, you get authority. People like people who create content. And fourth, and you get some leads indirectly or directly. And then of course you start doing that with more, you build more content, you get more leads. For example, with HelloTax, we did a webinar with a very big like Turkish agency, which I arranged like 4 years ago. We have like probably 12,000 views on the webinar, and we got like few hundred clients just from one video, one webinar.
Wow.
And of course, I mean, you don't get that much leads from all the stuff that you do, but it just accumulates. Now you do one with somebody, then you do more with the other one. And that's why I actually do those webinars, because whenever you do a webinar, you create content, the content stays, you get some leads, you get brand awareness. On top of that, whenever you do those webinars, you collect the context of the people who sign up to watch those webinars. So what you do, they opt in to be connected by you, you add them to your newsletter. And that's why I now have a newsletter of like 25,000 e-com series, because we've done a ton of webinars and people like those stuff. So by doing that, you're kind of grow your network. Then of course, I didn't have the webinar for probably the newsletter for like 3 years. We had the contacts, but we're not engaging them. So like a year ago, I decided, okay, let's do a newsletter, because I don't like all the newsletters that I read. I would like to do a newsletter as I like it. And like Kevin King said, like a few months ago, he did a very cool webinar. You should build a newsletter as you like it yourself. You shouldn't try to please everybody. So to be honest, I don't care if other people like it. I just write it as I like it. I have like the hacks, some partner features, news of the last 7 days. As I say, only news from the last 7 days, no old shit. So like some webinar features, so just valuable content. And of course, no, we actually monetize part of it. We sell a few slots just to kind of cover the expenses for our team. And if you can actually ask me now, how much does it take me to actually do the webinar per week? Do you have an idea how much time? Can you
Mm,
guess?
you specifically?
Yeah, me specific. How much time do I spend on the webinar, on the
Probably,
newsletter?
probably nothing. He probably
No,
just
actually, no. Is Yeah, just 1 hour. My team assembles the content and I just
yeah.
summarize that in 1 hour. And we can easily do like probably over 10K per month with that. But I don't want it fully monetize it on purpose. No, I just have like a very small portion of it where we actually sell to sponsor just to make it like independent. I can put whatever I want there. I'm gonna feature anybody that I meet once. If you want more, of course, you will need to pay, and like and kind of use it as a brand awareness. No, I do stuff for people, and I get a lot in return, of course. Because see, who is gonna feature in a newsletter for free? No, very few partners. I know few guys who have much better newsletters than me, but they create a lot of original content. What I do is just a curation. I gather the most relevant and interesting stuff, in my opinion, from the last week, and I share that. And that's actually one thing. After the webinar, probably the newsletter is one of the main things that people should do. And not only if you're a service provider, also if you're an e-commerce brand owner. One of my biggest mistake as an e-com brand owner was actually not doing that. We had 500 emails in our client list. Now, 500,000 clients which purchase our products like the supplements. Ask me how many emails did we send to them?
Nothing.
Zero, zero. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Yeah, that's insane. I mean, I cannot imagine that I was so dumb. But the reason why we did that is because we're making a lot of money from just paid marketing affiliates. So we never fall off of the email marketing channel. And now it's extremely important because
Mm.
having a good email list, it actually allows you to cooperate with much bigger companies. So, for example, with HelloTax, which is the only company which I manage now directly. The other companies I have people who manage those. They have 2,000 clients, but they have an email list which is probably close to 30,000 with an
Mm.
open rate up to 50%. So it's a very good, very engaged newsletter. And because they have such a big newsletter, they can partner up with companies like Helium 10 and other companies who have like huge newsletters because even though they might have much more clients, the newsletter is very big, which means that we can promote on the partner newsletter, they can do the same, and you get leads like that. And you haven't spent any money to grow the newsletter. You spend time by doing webinars, but you have not acquired that. And I know some companies who acquire email lists, but their engagement is zero. I mean, like I had an aggregator with a list of 120,000. We did a webinar with them, and we got 7 clicks, no
Mm.
signups, 7 clicks on the promotion. Usually, we get like 200 from the HelloTax webinar. So that's very valuable. And I was actually at a podcast recently where they were talking about that. Companies acquire like agencies, they acquire SaaS platforms, and now they start acquiring newsletters. Now there is a one in New York, Morning Brew, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So it got acquired for like I don't know the amount, but that's actually very valuable. So and then a lot of people actually started building newsletters recently. So but not all of them are good, of course. No, the best one, in my opinion, are Kevin King's newsletter. No,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if yeah.
Yes.
So a
Yeah. Yeah.
lot of valuable content, a lot. And
Absolutely. Yeah. He's able to really aggregate everything into one place that's like extremely relevant and like what you were saying, but Kevin King is like the insider of insiders when it comes to all this stuff. So his
yeah, I
insights and
mean,
I follow his LinkedIn as well, like his posts are really like he's able to really provide a lot of value up front and people appreciate that.
yeah, it's a lot of value. Mine is just a creation. No, mine is just if you don't wanna look for all the stuff. I mean, here is just some stuff that you can find valuable.
Yeah.
That's it.
If
No,
somebody's
but
looking to
no.
grow their business and they want to invest, having one place, that they trust is amazing, right? straight into your inbox, and you have everything that you could potentially need. If you need agency services, if you need software services, if you need whatever, any kind of like expansion, tax preparation, whatever you need to grow your business, as long as you can fund it and you have a strategy in mind, it's an amazing resource. So with that being said, is it really just making content, partnering with people, doing these types of events to gather emails and then just send an email list out? Or do you create the email list and then kind of promote it on these types of events? It's sort of chicken or the egg. What's the best approach to actually growing the email list beyond just what you're doing on the podcast stuff?
Okay, growing the email list, I mean, this is the quickest way because some people do like paid advertising to grow their list. But in my opinion, like inviting experts to speak on your webinar series and then, of course, promoting, sharing, this is the quickest way to grow because here we grow our newsletter with probably 2,000 emails per month.
Mm,
And some people are paying ton of money to actually acquire, or I mean, they actually use like paid advertising, but some, if somebody is spending like 1 hour of their time to watch your webinar, they're gonna continue actually watching your content because if somebody just clicks on an ad and sign up, they haven't done any effort. I mean, you've paid some money. So, in my opinion, like doing webinars is the best way to actually grow grow like a quality list. Of course, some people do like very niche stuff. They kind of invite people to their newsletter. So there's all kind of stuff. It depends who you're targeting. But that's a very good thing to do to kind of as a channel to actually get sales without doing any paid marketing. But of course, this is not, of course, the only thing. Some other stuff which we do in partnership is the so-called warm introductions, and this actually about my newest software, which is called Scale. And the idea for Scale came because we figured out that most of our clients make money from the so-called warm introductions. And how what I mean by that? So let's say you meet somebody, we chat with them about their service, vice versa, and then at the end of the call, you're saying, "Okay, Pasha, I like what you're doing. You have a co-agency." Whenever somebody's asking for Amazon growth or like expansion on Amazon, I'm gonna recommend you, and vice versa. You say, "Okay, Nick, whenever somebody's asking for like expansion to Europe or partnerships, I'm gonna recommend you, Nick." But in reality, uh, those referrals sometimes never come or come very rarely or they don't come at all. And the reason for that is really simple. When you run your business, your priority is selling your business and growing that. Your priority is not about asking who the hell else they need or what else they might need, whatever. So that's why we build a software where you proactively request introductions to people who are fit for you without them requesting introduction. And how does it work? Let's say, I call that, by the way, proactive referrals. So far, I think I've made this term. There is no such thing as proactive referrals. But in other words, let's say we meet with you. And then I say, okay, Pasha, instead of waiting for somebody to request an introduction from to you and they don't know that you exist, let's do that. I'm gonna share like a list of my partners. So this is done by our software. So imagine like the link. I'm gonna share uh, my LinkedIn's, but on LinkedIn you just see the mutual ones, which supposedly you know. So with Scale, you share your list. You can share your whole list of partners. It could be like clients, partners, associates, whatever. You go there, you see who I know, and anybody who is relevant, you just request an introduction. What happens? Then I approve that, and you get an email. Hey, Nico, please meet Pasha. Pasha is a partner of mine. He's the CEO of AMZ Optimize. They're like a full scale like Amazon agency, blah blah blah. And the thing is, how does this work? The Nico that didn't know that you exist. By requesting introduction to them by me, which I know them, I make a warm introduction. And when the introduction is warm, people connect. And you're proactively introducing yourself to people who might be partners, clients. So in other words, you're just creating your own opportunities. And this, in my opinion, is the best way to grow because there's all kind of networking tools and things, but most tools, they don't do warm outreach. I've checked out some tools. Somebody connects me with somebody else. I don't know the person who connects me, and I don't know the person they're connecting to me. So in order for those to work, uh, I mean, from the three person in the equation, two of them need to know each other. So I know Pasha, I know Nico, and I connect you guys. But if I don't know you and I don't know Nico, there would be reluctant to connect, and that's actually a very good thing because you're using your connections as your currency or as a trade-off to meet new people. And also, in my opinion, it's probably the cheapest way because there is no money involved, and sometimes connections make the best long-term partnerships, and sometimes even like business partnership. Because see, from what I do right now, like the partner agency, the partner network, the newsletter, and scale, all those came from introduction. So I just started just connecting people. I just got this idea because I'm like that. I got an idea, test it right away, and all starts like that. I meet five people, I connect them with, let's say, four people. I meet another like five, I connect them to the 10 guys, and it just grows like that. You can call it like multi-level partnership because you don't spend any money. I do small favors. I just spend a little extra from your time to do that, and this is probably the most important thing. People should be willing to do stuff which they don't monetize immediately for some for actually bigger long term like goal. Because if you expect that you're gonna do stuff only if you get paid, and it's not gonna work out. The issue is that most people don't want to do an extra to spend extra like 5 minutes to do something which they're not gonna get anything in return.
Yeah, I've you inspired me a lot to do this podcast. And there was this kind of process where normally I'm used to that type of transactional work behavior almost, right? Where it's like, okay, well, you're doing this for some type of result and you're trying to contribute to some type of growth for a client or something like that, or to your own brand. But when you're creating content, you're doing it just out of joy to share something that you know, or and to speak to somebody that you like to speak to. Hopefully somebody will get some value out of it, but there's no guarantee, right? There's no guarantee anybody will show up or anything. But you do it because, you just want to keep it open, and then something will come. And it's almost like a magical type of experience where things just unfold versus you trying to force it. And it's a very different approach. I agree. It has been a kind of interesting exercise compared to the way that things normally work, which is more transactional.
Exactly, and it's good that you mention that because the one thing that we didn't mention is that people should know that partnership don't always work. As a matter of fact, from 100 partnership, you're gonna end up doing stuff with only 20 of those. So be
Yeah.
prepared that you're gonna have a lot of meetings which are not ideal. But I have this I don't make assumption. No, I meet anybody who would like to meet me. Of course, if I don't have any slots, I'm not gonna meet anybody. But in general, I don't say no to anybody, and that's my approach because you never know who you're gonna meet, what you're gonna learn, and that's actually an open mindset. I was reading the Bruce Lee, actually it's not Bruce Lee's books, is his daughter Shannon Lee. Be my like water, my friend. So what he's talking about is that you should be like an empty cup. Whenever you meet somebody, you shouldn't make any assumption that you know everything and you know all this stuff. You should be always empty, like an empty cup. So you should be, because if you're full, I mean, there's nothing that you can learn or you
No
say,
more
okay,
space.
exactly, no more space. So you should be open for to do like other stuff. And the same way, and the other part of the books was about like being like water. So water is very strong and very soft. So it shouldn't be like stiff and just one side. I mean, you should be open to actually flexible, because stuff change. I mean, you cannot expect that what worked yesterday is gonna work tomorrow. And like one of my favorite quote Einstein said, you cannot do the same shit and expect different results.
Yeah.
Not exactly like that, but that's the same meaning. But just, I mean, these are probably one of the most important things that about partnership. Just be open minded, do stuff, get started. And actually, another thing from the book, the funny thing is that I usually know like read books for fun, and to be honest, the book was super boring, and I'm a big like Bruce Lee fan. But I said, okay, you know what, let's be open minded, like they said in like chapter one. Probably that's why they said it there, so you don't skip reading the book. And then in a lot of like chapters after that, I like a lot of stuff. For example, what Bruce Lee was saying: don't think too much, get started. And he said that 90% of people give up in the stage between I have an idea and I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah.
there's like a void in between. Okay, what would happen if I fail?
Yeah.
What if I? So This is what he was doing. Okay, he have an idea, test it out, and that's what they've been doing. To be honest, I decided to build a newsletter. I did one. I didn't like it. I just changed it. So I kind of, for example, with the expansion to what we're doing. We help companies to expand in Europe or globally. I have an idea. Started it. It was not great at the beginning. I had it all like messed up, like make it very complicated. And then I started doing meetings, and I realized, okay, we need to change this, we need to change that. So get started, and you're gonna, I guess, fine tune it. I mean, if you would like to be perfect, it's never gonna be perfect. So just get started, whatever you're doing.
I remember when I started my agency, it was the same thing. I started as a freelancer, doing a couple jobs here and there. I just came out of a brand that I was working on doing operations. So I said, I want to try this out, like do this for other companies and everything. And man, I was making images on MS Paint. It was terrible. My graphics were awful. Because I'm not a graphics designer. I'm maybe a little bit better at writing, also not that great at it. So it's literally just out of necessity. I didn't intend to have an agency. It was just like, hey, I have this project. I kind of know exactly what we need to do here to move the needle, but like I just suck at all these things. Hey, graphics designer, hey, copywriter, can you help me out? And then next thing I know, I have a team that I have to pay, and then more clients are coming, and it became this thing where, oh, I'm actually great at managing these projects and knowing how to grow these accounts on a high level as a strategist. And then I realized, okay, this is something that's working. So you never know until you try. And there's been many situations. I agree with you entirely. I've failed so many businesses, but at the same time, I've made so many successes too. So it's like you can't know until you try. And this content creation thing is new for me, but I'm truly enjoying it.
Yeah, I
Just
mean, it's cool. It's cool stuff. And the other thing, I think I forgot my phone, but like about the failing stuff. Okay, and I forgot it. I was about to say something, I forgot.
some piece of wisdom from Bruce Lee.
No, actually, it's about the fail. Okay, like the failing. I mean, it's good to. Okay, I got it. So this is something which I say to a lot of partners, because a lot of people talk about money, how we can make money, and I tell them, okay, man, don't ask me how we can make how what we can do with money. Tell me what we can do without any money involved. And
Mm,
that's partnerships. See, there is no any money involved in partnership most of the time, but you start doing some stuff eventually. If you like each other, if you have an overlap, then you can form them a company. You can do like a six partnership. So like money doesn't mean anything. Like with aggregators, no. When I used to have like 10 of them as clients, and they said, okay, Nick, asked them, okay, how many partners do you guys have? And they said 100. I said, okay, man, what is a partner for you? We have a referral agreement. Okay, how many brands did they refer to you because you have a referral agreement? Okay, not that many. And I said, okay, see, having a referral or agreement doesn't mean anything. You need to start doing stuff with people. So just like that. I mean, and I think this is the best way. You meet somebody, let's do something. And I kind of offer almost the same terms with anybody what that we do partnership. Of course, we have like different tiers for it, HelloTax and it this. But the thing is, if you want to do something, we're gonna do something. And as one of my ex clients was saying, very cool guy, like a serial entrepreneur, he was saying like old Scandinavian saying, nothing comes out from doing nothing. Or
mm.
like if you turn that into like a mathematical, like 0 times 0 is always 0. So the same, you need to do something. You never have like guaranteed success, but if you don't do anything, you have guaranteed zero for
Mm.
sure. So as simple as that.
So basically, get off the couch and start talking to people. Do something, right? Try
Yeah, I
something
mean,
different.
whatever you like. I mean, because some people are like extroverts, some are introverts. So whatever you have as an idea, just test it out. I mean, of course, for some people it's harder. They don't have confidence and they think that don't think. I mean, and I know that you're into the crypto space. And there is actually a very funny like meme about like the best, like the most successful like investors. So the people who make the most money, they have like IQ under 80 or IQ over 80, and what they do, buy the dip. You don't think too much, or it was something like that. That you don't. I mean, thinking too much doesn't help out sometimes, or worrying too much.
Yeah,
So
over analysis leads to
exactly.
paralysis, right? And
Yeah, I've never heard this one, but that's good one as well.
yeah, that's what happens in the crypto space. I mean, we're not going to get into that too deep, but the projects that are making the most market cap and most gains right now are these meme coins that are literally meant to be nothing. And then you have projects which are so complicated, filled with like PhDs from Harvard working on something that's so revolutionary. There's many projects like that, by the way, and people have no idea what they are, what they do, and they don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
So
What was like? I forgot this like kitty. I forgot like the kitty stuff. With the kids. No, what was it like? Some or like Dogecoin. This guy. I have
yeah,
no idea what Dogecoin is doing, to be honest.
yeah. The new one is dog with hat, right?
Yeah, I don't have time to follow them like the NFTs. I remember NFTs selling for like I don't know like millions or whatever. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah, but there is a saying for that. I mean, the trend is your friend. So ride the trend. If you're too late, you're gonna bite the. I
sure.
don't know what you're gonna bite, but anyways,
Yeah.
man.
With trading, it's
I
all about narratives, I imagine. But anyhow, I think we can wrap it up for today. We're getting close to that. So like our our podcast has a lot of people who are also managing their own businesses, most of the time services for other clients and things like that. So, with all this being said, what would you say is like the best way to actually get started and get off the ground? I know that you have Scale. That's helped me a lot personally. I'm a part of the WhatsApp group. You're constantly flooded. I had to put it on mute some a couple times because it was just so much activity going on in there in a good way. You have just so many people who are very engaged and want to meet people and want to connect. So, would you say the best way to get started in our industry as e-commerce is maybe to start with Scale or maybe even something smaller than that or slower than that? Like,
I
what's the
mean,
best way?
yeah, I mean, you don't need to use our software. I mean, the best thing is just connect with people. Anybody who works with your ICP, your like client persona, and who is not a competitor, you should meet those guys. That's it. I mean, of course, with Scale, it's much easier because we have all those users who have all their partner contacts there. But just meet people. I mean, if you like to go to events, go to events. I don't go to any events rarely because I mean I can do all my stuff online. But just meet people who work with your clients, do stuff with them. You're gonna start actually growing your company, and you're gonna get some ideas. So I mean, don't just wait. I mean, of course, there's other stuff like SEO. It's a great way. Of course, it takes time, and it's to be honest, it's more expensive because you need to get quality like copywriters to write your like blog articles. So there's a lot of ways to grow, but the quickest way you meet people, form partnerships, do stuff with them, you're gonna get growth.
Can I throw you
Just
a curveball?
yeah,
So you said don't avoid the competitors.
yeah.
Is
I
there
mean,
any way?
actually,
Can you make partnerships with competitors? I've been trying to approach that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and
Actually,
I think there is opportunity there too.
yeah, to be honest, I mean sometimes your competitors are your best partners. I'll give an
That's right.
example with HelloTax, for example. HelloTax, because the founder they have background is like Amazon sellers and they've built like a great tool. They have probably one of the best tools, even though I'm biased their clients. That's what I've heard from other companies as well. So anybody who provides the same service but they don't have a software like them, they're actually using that as a white label solution. So
There
in
you go.
some cases, no, another option for agencies because you run an agency. There is a lot of agencies which are market specific. Amazon agency in Germany, Amazon agency in USA, like Latam, Mexico. So a lot of times those agencies are niche. So instead of actually competing with each other, and because you don't know enough for Europe and vice versa, some agencies just swap leads like that. No, I'm gonna refer my clients who would like to expand to the USA. As long as you guys just refer clients who would like to expand in Europe. So to be honest, I just had a chat with one of HelloTax top competitors today because we're very close. We chat all the time for kind of stuff. So sometimes you cannot do stuff with them, but sometimes they're actually the best partners, though, because
Yeah.
they might be competitors on the outside, but when you have a chat, you kind of see, okay, they work with huge brands, we don't. So all the small brands that come to them as clients, they don't want to handle them, they send them to HelloTax and vice versa. So having a chat with somebody never hurts, even if they're competitors. So I've met all my competitors. So for the partner agency, I don't have competitors, but for my clients, they talk. Sometimes they even form great partnerships with some supposedly competitors. But of course, the easiest is if they don't compete with you because that's straightforward. You don't need to think too much about that.
Hmm. Amazing. Thank you, Nick. I think we're out of time for today. This
Okay,
has been
man.
this has been very insightful. I hope people listening are gonna take action on what you said. I know I did. I spoke with you, and boom.
Yeah,
you're on the podcast episode 5. So
yeah, man.
um,
I can call myself like the podcast whisperer. I tell people the web. By the way, no, this year I have three guys who started a podcast. No, I need to connect with Darina. She started her own, so you guys can do a podcast swap. So another thing, like podcast founders for webinar, we do that. We do swaps. I come on yours, you come on mine. So another like way to do some stuff together.
great.
But thanks again for the invite. No, we have actually a meeting with you in 15 minutes for other stuff. So I'm gonna go and grab dinner and we're gonna chat
Sounds
soon
good.
again.
So I'll catch you in there. Thank you everybody for watching. Gonna hit the
Thank you,
animation.
everyone. Take
All right.
care.
Take care.